Hey friends, as you can see by the first clips of this video, we did get snow this past week. I told you on the last video that they were predicting it, and we did get some. It was about 2 to 3 inches, and it was a lot of fun for us to play in and just take pictures and videos of it. It was a fun day of playing in the snow, but also staying home and being cozy. Such a fun week. It was a busy week, but I managed to do some Valentine's Day decor. I am making an easy DIY Valentine's Day heart garland, and it was so much fun and it turned out so cute that I wanted to share it with y'all in case you would like to make something like this. The fun thing about this garland is it is customizable. You can make it any way you want to, any print, and it's not just for Valentine's Day. You can use it for a little girl's room, in a baby's room, for a wedding shower, a baby shower. You can do so many things with it. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm going to share all the steps with you next. So I hope you enjoy it. For this DIY air dry clay heart garland, you're going to need a surface to work on. I'm using this cutting board. Then you need some cookie cutters. I'm using these heart shapes for Valentine's Day. Some air dry clay. I absolutely love this brand of clay. And you're going to need some napkins. I bought these at Home Goods, and a rolling pin, or whatever you have on hand to roll your clay out flat. You also need some fingernail polish remover. You also need some cotton swabs to apply your fingernail polish to your project. I'm just using these simple ones that we just had laying around the house. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, twine to tie up your garland. You may need a measuring tape to find out how long you need your garland, and you may need some floral wire, and you need sandpaper, and you also need a sealer for your project to seal everything up to take care of your project and make it last. I'm going to take out some of my clay and put it on my cutting board so that I can roll it out thin. Now this is air dry clay. You can also buy the clay that you bake, but the air dry clay, you just leave it out overnight and let it dry completely. If you want to speed up the process, you can always buy the clay that you bake, but you just work this clay out and make it thin so that you can work with it, and you just keep on working with it, rolling it flat and pulling out more clay as you need it. Then you're going to take your rolling pin and roll it out flat. Now they do have tools that you can buy that you can use for this clay, and I do have some, but I was not able to find them, so my rolling pin came in handy for this. But you just roll it out thin. I'm going to say about 1/4 of an inch thick, and you just keep rolling it until everything is smooth and ready to be molded into a heart garland. Now take the napkins that you picked out for your project. Now these are 2-ply napkins, and so we are going to remove the back. I don't think this will work if you keep the napkins together, so just pull that backing off of the napkin and just use the decorative side of the napkin. Since my napkins were so large, and to make it a little easier to work with, I cut just one little rectangle spot off of the napkin so that I could manage it a little bit better. Then I just laid the napkin down on my clay, and I tried to lay it the right way with the bows facing the right way, but keep that in mind. I ended up messing something up. So mine are not completely straight, which y'all know if y'all follow this channel that my projects are not perfect, and I prefer them that way. I prefer them a little bit rustic and handmade. And so if you're a little bit more of a perfectionist, then take more time on this area. Then I take my cotton ball and my fingernail polish remover, and I'm just going to dab it onto the napkin. This just makes the napkin adhere to the clay. Now it doesn't stick completely on it, but after it dries, it will be set into the clay. Also with this part of the project, make sure that your napkin is damp, not soaking wet, but just a little bit damp with the fingernail polish remover. And that way your project will turn out a little better. Now, with mine, I do have a little edges of my heart that is not completely covered with a napkin. I love it because some of the white shows through and it looks very distressed. But if you want this more, then add more fingernail polish remover. You can tell as you work the project how much you need. So just kind of use trial and error with this part and just add it as you see fit. Now, after the fingernail polish remover has been added to your napkin, take your cookie cutter and start cutting out shapes. I didn't wait any time between this step. I just started cutting out shapes, and I just used different cookie cutters for different shapes, but I ended up for the final project just using one size. But just keep cutting out your hearts and make sure that you really cut through the napkin on this part, just so that it's a nice and clean edge. And then if you do have a little bit of napkin left, we can always go back and fix that. Since we're making a garland, we need a place to run our twine or our ribbon through to hang the garland. So I'm just taking a simple straw and poking a hole in the top of this heart. You can put the hole anywhere you want to, on the side, in the middle, wherever, just whichever way you prefer your garland to hang. I'm putting the hole right there in the middle with the straw, and it worked out perfectly. Cut out as many hearts as you need for your garland, but after you cut everything out, lay your hearts aside and let them dry out completely. It took mine about 24 hours to completely dry out, but be patient with this part and make sure they are completely set and ready to work with for your garland. Then after everything is dry, we are going to protect our project with some sealer. I'm using Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer, and this is the gloss finish because I wanted my project to look a little bit more like ceramic. You can use any sealer that you have on hand to protect this project and to make it last. After the sealer is dry, we're going to take a piece of sandpaper and sand ever so lightly around the edges of the heart and just take away that excess napkin that is on the outside of our heart that did not get completely cut away when we did the cookie cutter. This step will make everything look nice, and like I said earlier in the video, when I sanded, a little bit of the napkin came off where it wasn't adhered very tightly, but I like that look because it makes it look very rustic and distressed. I used my measuring tape and cut my twine to about 24 inches long, but you can make this as short as or as long as you prefer. Then I just added the hearts to the twine, making a garland and just spreading them out the distance that was pleasing to the eye. So this is all personal preference of how far you want your hearts spaced on the garland, but I put mine pretty close together. And just tie a double knot on the back of the heart to hold it in place. Wasn't that such a fun DIY? I love how it turned out, and I love it draped across my love sign. That was a sign that I bought years ago and hung it in the master bedroom at our last house. And then we moved here. I didn't really have anywhere for it to go. And then I was looking at this bare wall in the kitchen as you walk out the door, and I thought it would be perfect there. And then adding this little heart garland just finished it off. So I love how it turned out. If you end up making one of these sweet heart garlands, please leave me a comment and let me know how it turned out. And if you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up. It helps out our channel so much. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing and joining our wonderful community here at Our Contented Home. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.